Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. And continuation of the lectures after very long time. So this is my last lecture and one of the most common lecture of the neurology and most common topic of neurology for your clinical purpose and for your examination purpose. So I am discussing one case. Few days back, a young girl I am seen into the ward and she is 20 years old and she has no any comorbidity and she has no any risk factor and came with the complaining of the high grade fever for last 10 days and associated with the headache and vomiting, and for last 2 days she has altered level of consciousness. On examination, she has blood pressure is 140/90 and respiratory rate is 22 breath per minute. Temperature recorded is 102 and neurological examination show there is the Glasgow Coma scale is 10 by 15 and signs of meningeal irritation are positive. Bilateral plantar are upgoing and further cranial examination show there is the papilloedema on fundoscope. So there are the multiple differential diagnosis, and that's why I am discuss this lecture and I am present this topic and for your teaching purpose. So I am start my lecture and lecture on the CNS infections. Okay, I've already discussed with the scenario. Any patient came with the complaining of the fever with altered level of consciousness. So, what are common differential diagnosis and what are less common differential diagnosis? Okay, the most common differential diagnosis if any patient came with the complaining of the high grade fever and altered level of consciousness, and the top of list is the meningitis, and second is the viral encephalitis, third is the cerebral malaria, fourth is the brain abscess, and rare differential diagnosis are the septicemia, heat stroke. Heat stroke if patient is sorry heat stroke if patient is exposed to the excessive temperature. Malignant hyperthermia. What is malignant hyperthermia? Patient present with the high grade fever and up to temperature is the 103 104 Fahrenheit. Malignant hyperthermia is the complication of the anesthetic agents like succinyl, choline, and in last into the neuroleptic malignant syndrome. Neuroleptic malignant syndrome, it is a complication of the antipsychotic drugs. So must we remember these common differential diagnosis if patient present with a high grade fever and altered level of consciousness. The meningitis, viral encephalitis, cerebral malaria, and brain abscess. And rarely these differential diagnosis. Okay. Classification of the CNS infections. These are classified into the congenital or neonatal infection of the brain, and these are most commonly we are called torch syndrome. These infections are transmitted from the mother to the fetus. The common organism is the cytomegalovirus, HIV, herpes simplex virus, toxoplasmosis, and rubella virus. The second classification is the meningitis. Third class type is the pyogenic parenchymal infections and including cerebritis. What is cerebritis? It is the inflammation of the cerebral cortex and brain abscess. The fourth is the encephalitis, and the most common organism is involved into the encephalitis is the herpes simplex encephalitis, Japanese encephalitis, and HIV encephalitis. The fifth is the tuberculosis, sixth is the fungal infections, and seventh is the parasitic infections. So these are the classification of the CNS infection. Simply these are classified. One is the congenital and second is the acquired. The congenital I am already uh, read these topics and viruses, and acquired is the meningitis and pyogenic infections, encephalitis, tuberculosis, fungal and parasitic. Okay, what is meningitis and what is encephalitis? Meningitis, a simple definition of the meningitis is the inflammation of the leptomeninges or inflammation of the meninges. And what are meninges? These are the covering of the brain. The meningitis caused by the bacteria, meningitis caused by the viral infection, meningitis caused by the fungal infection. So viral meningitis, bacterial meningitis and fungal meningitis. It is the ninth deadliest disease into the modern world. The incidence of the bacterial meningitis from 1.9 to 1.5 cases per 1 lakh population from 1908 to 2003 in part due to the introduction of the Haemophilus influenza type. Well, and what is encephalitis? Inflammation of the brain itself. So meningitis is the inflammation of the meninges of the brain, and the encephalitis is the inflammation of the brain parenchyma or inflammation of the brain. Encephalitis most commonly caused by the viruses. And what is the acute meningitis and what is the chronic meningitis? It depends on the symptoms of the meningitis. If the symptoms of meningitis history is less than 4 weeks, we are called the acute meningitis. If the symptoms of the meningitis, the duration is more than 4 weeks, we are called the chronic meningitis. The common causes of the acute meningitis is the viral meningitis and bacterial meningitis. And the common causes of the chronic meningitis is the tuberculosis meningitis and fungal meningitis. What is the mortality and morbidity of the meningitis? The mortality and morbidity of the meningitis is depend on the age of the patient and depend on the other comorbidities of the patient, and it depend on the severity of illness on organism. Most commonly, mortality rate is high into the pneumococcal meningitis. If patient is the meningitis due to the streptococcal pneumonia, the mortality rate is the 21%. If the patient is the meningitis due to the H influenza or staphylococcus, the mortality rate is the 15%. The blacks are more resistant to the white persons, the development of the meningitis, and male to female ratio is 3 by 1. So meningitis is more common into the males as compared to the females. The age is not specified. The meningitis may be occurring to the neonates, may be occurring to the children, may be occurring to the adults, and may be occurring to the old age patients. Okay, these all are responsible for the meningitis. The most common is the bacteria, the second is the viruses, third is the fungi, and fourth is the parasites, and fifth is the prions. And the meningitis is also classified into the septic meningitis and aseptic meningitis. First, we are classified into the acute meningitis and chronic meningitis. Second, we are classified on the basis of the organism, the bacterial, viral, fungal, and third, we are classifying meningitis into the septic meningitis and aseptic meningitis. What is the meaning of the septic meningitis and what is the meaning of the aseptic meningitis? If patient is meningitis and we are perform the investigation, gram stain is positive for the cocci, means gram positive cocci or gram negative cocci, which is called as septic meningitis. So bacterial meningitis is the septic meningitis. But if we are perform the investigations and CSF examination and gram stain for the bacteria is negative, we are called aseptic meningitis. So septic meningitis and aseptic meningitis we are classified on the basis of the gram stain. The common cause of the septic meningitis is the bacterial meningitis, and causes of the aseptic meningitis is the viral meningitis, tuberculosis meningitis, and fungal meningitis. So septic is the bacterial, gram strain is positive, and aseptic is the gram strain is negative, maybe viral, maybe fungal, and maybe tuberculosis meningitis. Some drugs are responsible also for the meningitis. The most common drug induced is the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs and IVIG, immunoglobulins, but these are very rarely. So drug-induced meningitis is included into the aseptic meningitis. These are the most common organisms for the bacterial meningitis. The most common organism involved for the bacterial meningitis is the Streptococcus pneumonia, which is account for the 50% cases. The other common organisms is the Neisseria meningitis, group B Streptococci, Listeria monocytogenes, which is 10%, H. influenza, which is less than 10%, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Treponema pallidum. Treponema pallidum organism is responsible for the syphilis, and one of the common complication of the syphilis is the meningitis. The other organisms are very rare, including the Leptospira, Brucella, and Nocardia estuaries. So you must be remember these five to six organisms. One is the Streptococcus pneumonia, Neisseria meningitis, group E Streptococcus, Listeria monocytogenes, H. influenza, and Mycobacterium tuberculosis. These are the common organisms which are responsible for the meningitis. Okay, these are the certain age groups the viruses affected the patients. If the children age is 0 to 4 weeks and the most common organisms are involved is the Listeria monocytogene, group B, Streptococci and E. coli. If the patient age is 4 weeks to 12 weeks, the common organism is the E. coli, H. influenza, Streptococcus pneumonia and Neisseria meningitis. If the patient is age is 3 months to 18 years, the most common organism is the Neisseria meningitis, Streptococcus pneumonia, and H. influenza. If the patient age is 18 to 15 years, the most 50 years, the most common organism is the Streptococcus pneumonia, Neisseria meningitis, and H. influenza. If the patient age is more than 80 years, the common organism is the Streptococcus pneumonia, Neisseria meningitis, and Listeria monocytogenes. Patient is the history of the basilar skull fracture and he has developed meningitis. The most common organism is the H. influenza and Streptococcus pneumonia. If patient is the non-case of the hydrocephalus or brain tumor and inserted ventriculoperitoneal shunt, then he developed meningitis. The most common organism is the Staph aureus and gram-negative bacilli. So the treatment of the meningitis is depend on the which organism is involved. What are the signs and symptoms of the meningitis? The most common symptom of the meningitis is the high-grade fever. High-grade fever is mostly occur into the acute viral meningitis and acute bacterial meningitis. But in tuberculosis meningitis and fungal meningitis, the fever is low grade. Other associated symptoms is the headache. Headache is very severe, more than 90% cases. Headache may be occurred due to the high-grade fever. Headache may be occurred due to the raised intracranial pressure. The other symptoms are the vomiting, fits 30% cases, and generalized weakness. Altered level of the mental status, patient may be confused, patient may be drowsy, patient may be comatose. And on examination, the findings are the patient is a neck stiffness is positive and signs of meningeal irritation is positive, including Kerning sign and Brzezinski sign, which are positive in the more than 85% cases. Patient may have photophobia. Patient have papilloedema on fundoscopy. If the patient has meningitis or viral encephalitis and the fundoscopy done and show the papilloedema, it is show the patient is the symptoms of the raised intracranial pressure. Focal neurological signs. What is the meaning of focal neurological signs? Focal neurological signs means patient has any cranial neuropathy, and the most common cranial nerve involvement into the children's and meningitis is the 8th cranial nerve. And otherwise, other cranial nerve is the second cranial nerve involvement and facial nerve involvement. What are the symptoms in infants? In infants are present with the fever, lethargy, or change in the level of the alertness, poor feeding and vomiting. Poor feeding and vomiting is the common symptom into the neonates and infants. Respiratory distress, apnea, and cyanosis. Fits, seizures. Seizures is occur 40% cases into the meningitis, but most common presentation of seizures into the viral encephalitis. Okay, systemic finding. Meningitis means inflammation of the meninges. This is a maybe the primary infection or this may be the secondary infection. Means any infection which is involved into the system of the body. Means any infection like patient is the sinusitis or patient is the otitis media. The infection spread into the brain and can cause meningitis. If patient is the pneumonia or patient is the urinary tract infection or mastoiditis, these infections are spread from the body to the brain if not treated properly. Arthritis is mostly common into the Neisseria meningitis rashes. If any patient present with the symptoms of the meningitis and he is diagnosed meningitis and the rashes on the body, the most common responsible organism if the patient is the meningitis and rashes is the Neisseria meningitis. Endotoxic shock with vascular polyps. This is another complication of the Neisseria meningitis. So any patient of the meningitis with rashes in the body must be remembered the most common organism is the Neisseria meningitis. Okay, now came into the investigations of the meningitis. The investigations must be started from the routine investigation. The first investigation is the blood CP. And what are findings in the blood CP? Patient has anemia if patient is the any chronic infection like tuberculosis, meningitis or fungal meningitis, the hemoglobin is decreased. The second CBC findings are the increased WBC count, white blood cell count increase or increased ESR. These both are show the evidence of the acute infection. The second investigation is the serum electrolytes. Sometime in patient with the meningitis, patient present with the symptoms of the hyponatremia. And what is the reason of the hyponatremia in patient with the meningitis? This is the reason is the syndrome of inappropriate ADH secretion. So electrolyte imbalance occur if the patient is the syndrome of inappropriate ADH secretion and the resulting hyponatremia. Liver profile must be seen before start the antibiotic therapy. Serum glucose level. Sometimes patient with the meningitis present with the hypoglycemia. And the serum glucose level must be monitored because if CSF-DR is done, then we see the ratio of the serum glucose level and CSF glucose level. Coagulation profile means PTA, PTT must be if you are suspected the patient is that disseminated intravascular and DIC or septicemia. Urinary electrolytes I am already discussed for the syndrome of inappropriate ADH secretion. The other specific investigation is the blood culture, which is important to identify the which bacterial organism is responsible for the meningitis. The other is the blood cryptococcal antigen. The cryptococcal antigen is performed if you are suspected patient is the fungal meningitis. Okay. Latest agglutination test or immunoelectrophoresis test of the blood and CSF. These are also very helpful for the bacterial and fungal meningitis and serum, CSF and VDRL. What is the short form of the VDRL? Venereal Disease Research Laboratory. This investigation should be performed if you are suspected patient is the meningitis due to the neurosyphilis. So initially, investigation start from the blood CP, urea creatinine electrolytes, LFT, and blood sugar level. And other investigations like latex agglutination test, VDRL test, these are if you are suspected patient is the fungal meningitis or you are suspected patient is the syphilis meningitis. Blood culture is also very important investigations for the diagnosis of the meningitic organisms. Okay, before and discuss on the CT scan, the gold standard test for the diagnosis of the meningitis and viral infection, encephalitis or any CNS infection is the lumbar puncture. So if anyone asks about the which is the single gold standard investigation for the diagnosis of the CNS infection, your answer is the lumbar puncture for the CSF examination. So the investigation of choice for the diagnosis of the meningitis, for diagnosis of the Viral encephalitis is the lumbar puncture and CSF examination. You should be performed the cerebrospinal fluid DR, cerebrospinal fluid culture, and cerebrospinal fluid PCR. So, investigation of choice for the diagnosis of the meningitis is the lumbar puncture for CSF DR, for CSF culture, for CSF PCR. And what components you are seeing into the lumbar puncture or CSF examination? The first component is the opening pressure. Okay, the first component you are seeing into the CSF finding is the opening pressure. The second component you are seeing into the WBC count. Third component you are seeing is the protein, CSF protein level. Fourth component you are seeing to the glucose level. And finally gram strain. So what is the normal opening pressure? The normal opening pressure is the less than 180 or 5 to 15 cubic per millimeter water. And what is the normal cell count? The normal cell count is 0 to 5. And what are the normal protein ratio? The 15 to 50 milligram per deciliter. And normal glucose, CSF glucose level 45 to 100 milligram per deciliter, two-thirds of the serum. So these are the normal values. The opening pressure 5 to 15, WBC count 0 to 5, protein count 15 to 50, glucose is the 45 to 100, and every CSF examination there is the must be seen the gram strain. What is the importance of the gram strain? If the gram strain is positive, we are diagnosed patient is the bacterial meningitis and which is called septic meningitis. But if the gram strain is negative, we are called aseptic meningitis. Okay. Now, in what could be occur into the bacterial meningitis? The opening pressure into the bacterial meningitis is 200 to 500. See, normal value is the less than 180, and in the bacterial meningitis it is 200 to 500. Means opening pressure is increased into the bacterial meningitis. In viral meningitis, opening pressure is normal. Opening pressure means CSF pressure. In fungal meningitis, the CSF pressure is increased. In tuberculosis meningitis, CSF pressure is normal. So on the basis of CSF pressure, we are diagnosed bacterial meningitis and fungal meningitis. If CSF pressure is increased, maybe bacterial meningitis or maybe fungal meningitis, but not viral meningitis or tuberculosis meningitis. The second is the WBC count, CSF WBC count, which is normal 0 to 5. And bacterial meningitis WBC count may be 100 and may be reached to the 20,000. So 100 to the 20,000. In viral meningitis, WBC count is the 5 to 500. In fungal meningitis, 20 to 2000. And tuberculosis meningitis, 5 to 2000. Means in every situation, WBC count is increased. WBC count is increased into the bacterial meningitis, viral meningitis, fungal meningitis, and tuberculosis meningitis. While CSF pressure is only increased into the bacterial and fungal meningitis. Now, came into the WBC count, maybe neutrophilic predominancy, maybe lymphocytic predominancy. In bacterial meningitis, if WBC count is increased, neutrophils are predominant, more than 80% cases. PMN is the polymorphonuclear cells. In viral meningitis, the lymphocytic count is increased. In fungal meningitis, lymphocytic count is increased. In tuberculosis meningitis, lymphocytic count is increased. So neutrophilic count is only increased into the bacterial meningitis. Other types of the meningitis, lymphocytic count is increased. So if patient is the high grade fever and with the altered level of consciousness, and you are done the CSF examination or lumbar puncture and CSF report show there is the predominancy of the neutrophils, you are diagnosed as the bacterial meningitis. But the CSF show the predominancy of the lymphocytes, the maybe viral meningitis, maybe fungal meningitis, or maybe tuberculosis meningitis. Proteins. The normal value of the proteins is the 15 to 50. normal value of the proteins is the 15 to 50. Proteins may be increased into the bacterial meningitis, may be increased into the viral meningitis, may be increased into the fungal meningitis, and may be increased into the tuberculosis meningitis. So protein count increase in all types of the meningitis. Now came into the glucose. The normal value of the glucose is the 45 to 100 gram. Glucose, CSF glucose is decreased into the bacterial meningitis. CSF glucose is decreased into the tuberculosis meningitis. While in fungal meningitis and viral meningitis, CSF glucose level is normal. So in bacterial meningitis, increase CSF pressure. In bacterial meningitis, neutrophilic count is increased. In bacterial meningitis, increased protein. In bacterial meningitis, glucose level CSF is decreased. In viral meningitis, CSF pressure is normal. In viral meningitis, WBC count increased with lymphocytic predominant. Protein is increased. Glucose is normal. In fungal meningitis, opening pressure is increased. Lymphocytic predominance, WBC count, protein is increased and glucose is normal. And tuberculosis meningitis, CSF pressure is normal, WBC count is increased with lymphocytic predominancy, protein is increased and glucose is decreased. Now CSF gram stain. If CSF gram stain is positive, the diagnosis is the bacterial meningitis. If CSF gram stain is negative, the diagnosis may be viral meningitis, may be fungal meningitis, or maybe tuberculosis meningitis. If gram stain is positive, we are called septic meningitis. If gram stain is negative, we are called aseptic meningitis. So investigation of choice for the diagnosis of the CNS infection is the lumbar puncture or CSF examination, the CSF DR, CSF culture, and CSF PCR. And what findings you are seeing into the CSF examination? There is the CSF pressure, WBC count, proteins, glucose, and gram stain. The other investigation is the neuroimaging, the CT scan brain or MRI brain. The neuroimaging mostly contrast, not blend. And what are findings you are seeing if you are advise the patient to the CT scan brain or MRI brain? The first abnormal finding into the CT scan brain or MRI brain is the cerebral edema. And the cerebral edema is occurred due to the raised intracranial pressure. Second abnormality you are seen into the hydrocephalus. The hydrocephalus may be obstructive, may be non-obstructive. Third finding you are seen into the CT scan brain evidence of the any stroke, because one of the most common complication of the meningitis is the stroke, and the reason of the stroke is the vasculitis. And the fourth finding you are seeing the meningeal enhancement. What is meningeal enhancement? The meningeal enhancement is seen into the CT scan brain contrast or MRI brain contrast. If there is meningitis is occurred, there is the rupture of the blood-brain barrier. If brain barrier, blood-brain barrier. Okay, if the rupture of the blood-brain barrier, the contrast agent reach into the meningeal vessels and which are enhanced. So this is called meningeal enhancement. So at least four findings must be you remember. The first is the cerebral edema. The second finding is the hydrocephalus. Third finding, any evidence of the stroke into the CT scan brain. And fourth finding is the meningeal enhancement into the contrast CT scan brain or MRI brain contrast. So these are the different investigations which are helpful for the diagnosis. Initially routine investigations, then lumbar puncture or CSF examination, and finally neuroimaging. Okay, what is the treatment? If any patient came with the complaining of the high grade fever and any patient came with the complaining of the altered level of consciousness and you are suspected patient is the meningitis. The first, if patient is unconscious, must be passed nasogastric tube. If patient is unconscious, catheterize the patient. So one is the first step is the pass nasogastric tube. The second step is the catheterize the patient. Third, if the patient is oxygen saturation is dropped, should be given oxygen therapy. The fourth step, if patient is the high-grade fever, must be given the antipyretic drugs. The fifth step, if the patient is the fits, must be given anti-epileptic drugs. The sixth step, the patient is the raised intracranial pressure, should be given IV mannitol. So these are the general measurement of the patient with the meningitis. The specific therapy should be given the IV antibiotic. And what is the duration of the IV antibiotic? The duration is depend on the organism. The minimum duration of the antibiotic therapy is the 7 days, and maximum duration of the IV antibiotic therapy is the 14 days. And also given the steroids. And if patient is the hydrocephalus on the CT scan, must be think of the surgery. So the stepwise treatment of the any patient present with a CNS infection, pass nasogastric tube, catheterize the patient, IV antipyretic drugs or oral antipyretic drugs if patient is the high grade fever, anti-epileptic drugs if patient is the fits, and IV fluid if patient is the hypotension, IV antibiotics from the duration of the 7 days or up to 14 days. IV steroids should be given because the IV steroids is the dexamethasone is the anti-inflammatory agent which reduce the inflammation. If CT scan show there is the evidence of the hydrocephalus, neurosurgical opinion is very important. And antibiotic therapy, we are classified into the empirical antibiotic therapy and specific antibiotic therapy. What is the meaning of the empirical antibiotic therapy? Empirical antibiotic therapy, if you are done the CSF examination and sent for the report, then you are start empirical antibiotic therapy. But if the CSF culture or CSF findings show there is any specific antibiotic which is sensitive for these organisms, this is called the specific therapy. So if you are sent the all investigation, then start the empirical therapy. Okay, what is the different options of the empirical therapy? At least 2 to 3 antibiotic you must be remembered. The most common antibiotics we are given into the third generation cephalosporin. The second antibiotic we are given into the ampicillin. The third antibiotic we are given to the vancomycin. The third generation cephalosporin including ceftriaxone and cefotaxime. The first antibiotic is the third generation cephalosporin. The name of the third generation cephalosporin antibiotic is the ceftriaxone and cefotaxime. The second antibiotic, which is the vancomycin, and third antibiotic, the ampicillin. These antibiotics are indicated if patient is the bacterial meningitis. These antibiotics are not given if the patient is the viral meningitis or tuberculosis or fungal meningitis. Definitive treatment. If the patient is the Streptococcus pneumonia meningitis, drug of choice is the penicillin G or ceftriaxone or cefotaxime. If the patient is the H influenza, the drug of choice is the ampicillin. If the patient is the Listeria monocytogenes, the drug of the ampicillin. So if you are diagnosed, the patient is the meningitis, at least the 3 drugs must be remembered. One is the ceftriaxone or cefotaxime, the second drug is the vancomycin, and third drug is the ampicillin. So these are the different antibiotics which is used for the treatment of the bacterial meningitis. If the patient is the meningitis and the patient is history of the basilar skull fracture or patient is the history of the penetrating trauma, the common organisms are the Streptococcus pneumonia or H influenza, and the treatment of this patient is the third generation cephalosporin plus vancomycin. So if any patient the history of the trauma, skull fracture or head injury, then he is developed the meningitis. The drug of choice is the third generation cephalosporin and vancomycin. Okay, the second type of the meningitis is the tuberculosis meningitis. Tuberculosis meningitis is caused by the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and it is the chronic meningitis, and it is aseptic meningitis. In tuberculosis meningitis, patient is history of low grade fever. In viral meningitis, patient is history of high-grade fever. In bacterial meningitis, patient is history of the high-grade fever. But in tuberculosis meningitis, patient is history of low-grade fever, body ache, headache, altered level of consciousness, and the duration of the history of the tuberculosis meningitis is prolonged. The duration of history is very short into the bacterial meningitis or viral meningitis. History of the pulmonary tuberculosis may be present, may not be present. What is the diagnosis investigation for tuberculosis meningitis? Initially, routine investigation, blood CP, urea creatinine electrolytes, ESR, and blood sugar level, chest X-ray, blood culture level, sputum for AFP, and then investigation. The gold standard investigation for the diagnosis of the tuberculosis meningitis is the lumbar puncture, which show there is the CSF DR, CSF AFP smear, and CSF PCR. The CSF findings of the tuberculosis meningitis, the opening pressure is normal, increase lymphocytic WBC count, increase protein, and decrease glucose level. So the opening pressure is normal. The investigation is the CSF DR, PCR, and CSF AFB smear. The other investigation for tuberculosis meningitis is the neuroimaging like CT scan brain or MRI brain, and the findings are the cerebral edema, hydrocephalus, any evidence of the stroke, meningeal enhancement, and finally multiple tuberculomas are seen into the CT scan brain. The treatment is the symptomatic treatment plus anti-tuberculosis therapy. The duration of the anti-tuberculosis therapy from 9 months to the 1 year. And the different anti-tuberculosis drugs like rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, streptomycin, and with steroids. So tuberculosis meningitis treated with the anti-tuberculosis drug. The gold standard investigation is the CSF examination or lumbar puncture, CSF DR, CSF culture, and CSF PCR, and neuroimaging. Maybe the CT scan brain or contrast, maybe the MRI brain contrast. The history is very prolonged into the tuberculosis meningitis, and fever is low grade. While into the bacterial meningitis and viral meningitis, the history is short and fever is high grade. Viral meningitis, this is a benign condition. The history is very short. The patient has history of the 5 to 7 days, high grade fever, headache, and altered level of consciousness. And common organisms for the viral meningitis is the herpes simplex virus, rabies virus, enterovirus. There is no specific treatment for the viral meningitis, just supportive treatment should be given. The CSF examination of the viral meningitis would show the opening pressure is normal, lymphocyte count is increased, protein count is increased, but glucose is normal. CSF glucose count is decreased into the bacterial meningitis and tuberculosis meningitis. CT scan mostly normal into the viral meningitis, but sometimes seen there is the cerebral edema. Fungal meningitis. The presentation of the fungal meningitis and the presentation of the tuberculosis meningitis is same. Tuberculosis meningitis is aseptic meningitis. Fungal meningitis is aseptic meningitis. Tuberculosis meningitis, the history is prolonged. Fungal meningitis, the history is prolonged. In tuberculosis meningitis, patient is low-grade fever. In fungal meningitis, patient is also low-grade fever. The fungal meningitis mostly occur into the immunocompromised patients, like patient is a malignancy, patient is alcoholic, patient is diabetes. So in immunocompromised patient, the chances of the fungal meningitis, most common fungi which are responsible for the meningitis is the Histoplasma capsulatum, blastomides, Aspergillus fumigatus. The investigation of choice is the CSF examination. I have already discussed. CSF pressure normal, CSF lymphocyte count is increased, CSF protein is increased, and CSF glucose is normal. The drug of choice for the fungal meningitis is the amphotericin B and the fluconazole, flucytosine. So must we remember 3 drugs for the treatment of the fungal meningitis. One is the amphotericin B, second is the flucytosine, and third is the fluconazole. So fungal meningitis is the chronic condition with low-grade fever and altered level of consciousness, mostly occur into the immunocompromised patient. The organisms are the Aspergillus, Candida albicans, Histoplasma, and the investigations are same one as the lumbar puncture or CSF examination, and the neuroimaging CT scan findings are same like bacterial meningitis and tuberculosis meningitis, and the drug of the antifungal is the amphotericin B, fluconazole, and flucytosine. Now, second CNS infection is the cerebral malaria. The most common organism responsible for the cerebral malaria is the Plasmodium falciparum, and the mortality rate is the 25 to 50% cases. The symptoms are the same. Patient is a high grade fever, patient is the headache, patient is the altered level of consciousness. Investigations which are responsible malarial parasite which is called MP. The malarial parasite show the organism is the Plasmodium falciparum. The other investigation is the neuroimaging like CT scan and MRI which show the cerebral edema. Drug of choice for the cerebral malaria is the IV quinine drug and exchange transfusion. So there is the two drug option. One is the quinine and second is the exchange transfusion, and symptomatic treatment including the antipyretic drug should be given. Brain abscess, the another CNS infection. The most common organism is important for the brain abscess. Responsible for the brain abscess are the streptococci and staphylococci. And what is the root of the spread of the brain abscess? If patient is any systemic infection from the sinusitis, dental infections, otitis media, head injury, neurosurgery, or hematogenous spread. So same risk factors like bacterial meningitis, and the most common organism is the staphylococci, streptococci, and anaerobes. The slide show there is the imaging of the MRI. This is show that there is the brain abscess. Symptoms are same like the meningitis, high grade fever, headache, vomiting, altered level of consciousness, and focal neurological deficit like patient is the any motor weakness on the one side of the body and one side of the cranial nerves. The diagnosis, the first investigation is the neuroimaging, CT scan brain contrast or MRI brain contrast. There is the no need of the lumbar puncture or CSF examination into the brain abscess. The most commonly brain abscess are diagnosed on the basis of the CT scan brain or MRI brain. Treatment option of the brain abscess, one is the pharmacological treatment and second is the surgical treatment. The common IV antibiotics are given for the duration of the 6 to 8 weeks. The duration of the IV antibiotic is the 6 to 8 weeks. Metronidazole should be given into the IV form. Rocephin is the third generation cephalosporin. So the drug of choice for the brain abscess, one is the IV metronidazole and the IV third generation cephalosporin. The duration of therapy at least for 6 to 8 weeks. If patient symptoms are not improved, the other option to treat the brain abscess is the neurosurgical drainage, which is called, and there is the aspiration of the brain abscess. There are the two treatment option of the brain abscess. One is the IV antibiotic for the third generation cephalosporin, metronidazole, and sometimes we are giving to the vancomycin for 6 to 8 weeks. And second is the neurosurgical drainage. Viral encephalitis. What is the encephalitis? There is the inflammation of the brain parenchyma. Most common virus which is responsible for the encephalitis is the herpes simplex virus. Most common virus is the herpes simplex virus. The other viruses are the California virus or Easter echina virus. So must we remember the herpes simplex virus is very, very important, which is responsible for the viral encephalitis. The history is very short into the viral encephalitis like bacterial meningitis, patient present with a high grade fever, patient present with the altered level of consciousness, and patient present with the abnormal behavior and fits. Fits are most common presentation of the viral encephalitis as compared to the meningitis and cerebral malaria. The most common brain areas involvement into the viral encephalitis is the temporal lobe in 80% cases, and 20% cases there is the frontal lobe. So mortality rate of the herpes simplex encephalitis is up to 70% patient, if patient is untreated. If patient is treated, the mortality rate is the 20%. So proper treatment should be reduce the mortality of the patient. Without treatment, the 70%, and with treatment, the 20%. Investigations of the herpes simplex encephalitis, initially routine investigations like blood CP, urea creatinine electrolytes, blood sugar level, LFT level. The gold standard investigation for the diagnosis of the herpes simplex encephalitis is the lumbar puncture or CSF examination. Lumbar puncture show the opening pressure is normal, the lymphocyte count is increased, protein count is increased, and glucose normal or decrease. And the CSF PCR for the analysis of the herpes simplex virus DNA. So one investigation is the lumbar puncture for CSF BR and CSF PCR for the detection of the herpes simplex virus. The second investigation is the CT scan brain or MRI brain. The areas involvement into the CT scan brain or areas involvement into the MRI brain into the temporal lobe or the frontal lobe. There is the hypodensity or black shadow is seen into the temporal lobe or frontal lobe. Other routine investigations. So investigations are the routine investigation for diagnosis of the herpes simplex encephalitis, lumbar puncture and CSF examination for the CSF DR and CSF PCR for the herpes simplex virus DNA, and finally there is the neuroimaging CT scan and MRI. The drug of choice for the herpes simplex encephalitis is the acyclovir. Acyclovir is the antiviral drug. The dose of the acyclovir is the 10 mg per kg 8 hourly for 10 to 14 days. The drug of choice for the herpes simplex virus is the acyclovir. The name of the drug is the acyclovir. Should be given intravenous. The dose of the acyclovir is the 10 mg per kg 8 hourly. The side effect of the acyclovir is the nephrotoxic. So at least 2 to 3 liters IV fluid should be given for if you are start the acyclovir, and every second to third day monitor the renal function of the patient, because there is the chances of the renal failure because this drug is the nephrotoxic. Urea creatinine measurement every second to third day and proper hydration of the patient is very important. Anti-epileptic drug should be given if patient is the fits due to the herpes simplex encephalitis. And last very rare condition is the progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy. The short form is the PML, and the common virus is the JC virus. The diagnosis is the MRI. Show there is the periventricular signals, and MRI show there is a periventricular signals, and CSF examination is normal. PCR, the CSF PCR for the diagnosis of the JVC DNA is very important. Treatment, no effective treatment for the progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy. So, what are the complications of the CNS infection? If the bacterial meningitis, if patient is the meningitis, if patient is the viral encephalitis, or if patient is the brain abscess, or patient is the PML, there are the, if not treated properly, there are a lot of the complications. The complications may be included, patient may be mentally retardation, patient may have the hearing loss, deafness. This is the most common complication if meningitis is occurring to the neonates. Speech impairment is occurred if we are not treated properly. CNS infection, motor weakness may be occurred due to the stroke, facial weakness may be occurred due to the seventh nerve palsy. Fits, long-term fits are occurred due to the sequelae of the meningitis or viral encephalitis. Cognitive impairment or memory impairment is common. Depression is common in these patients. Sensory symptoms and lower limb weakness. So these are the different complications of the CNS infection we are not treated properly. So if any patient, if Any patient present with the fever and altered level of consciousness must be think of the meningitis, must be think of the brain abscess, must be think of the viral encephalitis, and must be think of the cerebral malaria. Thank you. Any question?
Of the patient.
Okay, the most common complication patient death due to the CNS infection is the raised intracranial pressure. Due to the raised intracranial pressure, there is the transtentorial herniation. The second complication leads to the death is the hydrocephalus. The third complication can lead to the death is the stroke secondary to the CNS infection. And other complication death to the CNS infection is the aspiration pneumonia. Because so,
Thank you, sir.
okay, thank you. Any other question? Any question?
कोई क्वेश्चन है कारण हो जाए तो रेज हैंड
Okay, thank you.